I want to take this opportunity to talk about Nickmercs and I think why his team is currently dead last in the ALGS and why I think they struggle. And to really summarize it, I think Nickmercs and his team are the closest representation to what a professional team would look like if it was randoms. I think there's no definitive leader amongst themselves. I think Deeds does well, and in the ALGS, Deeds has done very well at communicating strategies and stuff, but a lot of it comes on the tail end of frustration, right? The only time there's someone on the team definitively making call outs, definitively giving strats, is if they just got wiped and it's the in between games, or if they're getting, crapped on by a team, right? If a team is really harassing them, bullying them, they're not getting any shots off. It's just, no, do this, right? And the thing is, like, when you're a pro, when you're a professional athlete, if you will, there needs to be a shot caller. There needs to be someone in charge, right? Think like any other traditional sport: baseball, basketball, hockey, football. Like, there's a quarterback, there's a point guard, right? There's a captain of your baseball team. There's someone who people can look at and say, that is our leader. NRG has Sweet. TSM has Imperial Hal. No matter what you think about those guys are the definitive people that you look at their team and you say, those are the leaders. There is not someone like that on Nickmercs' team. And again, I don't like Nickmercs, but that has nothing to do with the fact that the eyeball test can tell you that there's no definitive leader on their team. Maybe that's something they've discussed amongst themselves, that, hey, we're all just kind of going to go with the flow. But again, there's a reason that professional teams in any sport or any competitive scene don't just go with the flow, don't just go with their instinct, right? There's a definitive team. And when I say go with their instinct, I should backtrack. What I'm talking about is there's no definitive, like, shot caller, right? You listen to their strats. Their strats are very like, should we do this? Should we do that? We could do this. We could do that. And that's something that really needs to get ironed out on any pro anything, because the only time that that's ever a question is when a leader doesn't really know. And why are you a leader if you can't make a decision? Me personally, and I bet if you were to pull all the pros, all the people who aren't IGLs or captains or leaders, and you ask them, like, would you rather win or would you rather win with someone like Imperial Hal or lose without someone yelling at you, right? And that to me really comes down to it is I think Nick has an ego. That's obvious. I think he's got a really big ego, perhaps well-deserved, based solely on his success in life, nothing else. I don't think you can consider the fact that he's been a pro in any other esport to be a valid reason to have an ego in this sport, right? Because it was so far removed from what the world has become inside the esports scene that simply saying you were a Gears of War or Halo pro, unless you're current, is so far removed from reality or the current state of esports. And it's obvious that he put his efforts and time into content over becoming a competitive elite player. But he has an ego. And I think Deeds and Grant, I don't know so much about, or Jen, excuse me. I know Deeds is young. I think he's 18. I don't know too much about the other one, but they sound young. And so these guys have probably watched Nickmercs long before they were even a pro, long before Nickmercs was even a pro. So I don't know what their relationships are, but it comes across like two younger guys who don't want to make Nickmercs mad, so they don't do any call-outs. Now, of course, I guarantee there's been discussions about there's been discussions about that very thing outside of stream, right? You'd be a complete moron to never have had a discussion about, like, look, guys, talk to me the way you want to talk to me. Like, talk to me how you guys would talk to anyone else, right? But that doesn't matter. You can have that discussion all day. It still doesn't change the fact that you can visually see it. And the eyeball test is that there's no leader. There's no confidence in any play style, and there's no change in their comp, right? Nickmercs have been playing Seer since he started playing Apex when Seer first came out. Think what you want. Take a team like TSM. TSM is at least trying to change and adjust to the meta, right? It's a team that's struggling, but teams are changing their picks. Seer is not a good pick for Nickmercs. And to be honest, I remember watching a video a long time ago, maybe like last year about it. And it's like, I think we're at a point where Nickmercs is scared to change champions. Really, maybe not scared so much as far as doesn't really know how the kits work. I think he's scared to change agents and be good, right? Because he's been so stubborn on picking Seer the whole time. But he's not good on Seer. I think he's good at the game, but not good on Seer. And that's pretty much the easiest way to sum it up. But I wanted to take that opportunity to talk about that.